On the island of Newfoundland, upon the southwest coast, lies the little town of Virgil, to whom I'll sing this toast. There are so many highlands that lie just off her shore, and when the cold north wind blows, you can hear the billows roar. The people from the village make their living from the sea. They like their independence, it shows that they are free. Some fish in their small boats in the wind, the rain and sleet, while others make their living on the offshore trawler fleet. They've known their share of tragedies down through the years, and when the memories overcome, they show their grief with tears. For they have lost some loved ones to the furies of the seas, for heartaches and heartbreaks are locked in memories. This village, it's got beauty carved on its rugged shore. 7 miles of pure white sand, who could ask for more? The mountains and the valleys where the rivers run so fast, and the salmon rise to the sportsman's fly as he makes another cast. Tell the people of this village love their native home, for anyone who goes away most surely will return. Just like that lifelong mystery, the answer you won't know. What makes this rugged village burn so deeply in your soul? What makes this rugged village burn so deeply in your soul?
Good evening, and welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight in our stories we have Best Decorated Houses, Seniors Christmas Party, Town Council Report. Please stay tuned for these stories after this. TWIR Luck on Wednesday implied TV Bingo, sponsored by the Minor Hockey League. Cards are 6 for $5 and can be bought from any member of Minor Hockey or in most stores around town. Lions President Jim Marsden came on studio and awarded plaques for the best decorated houses for Christmas 2009.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Lions Club, we're here this evening to present the winners of the best decorated house for 2009 for Christmas holidays. So first I'd like to call on Janet Domley to come forward and get the third place decorated house. And thank you.
Thank you very much.
Every year. And I'd like to call on Sarah Seymour for second place. Sarah, you come forward, please. Oh, she's all tangled up.
Thank you.
Thank you for participating. And our winner for this year, first place, was Danny Strickland. And Danny's house, you go over and and look at it. Look beautiful from over there.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody.
And on behalf of the Lions Club, I'd like to thank everyone for participating. I must say there were some beautiful homes that were decorated this Christmas. And If anyone is interested in joining the Virgin Lions Club, feel free to call any Lions Club member. And I'd like to thank everybody for participating, and thank you, and have a happy new year.
The Lions Club held their annual Seniors Christmas Party on Wednesday. Lions Max Pink was the MC. This year they had more people than an extra table had to be set up. River Ghanese opened with grace.
Loving God, in this new year, we thank you for your blessings and your grace and your guidance. Even as we gather here, Lord, we celebrate your blessings with life, more years being added unto most of us, oh God. We thank you. You are God who is there for us, always gracious, abounding in love. Thank you, Lord, even for this evening, and as we just come together to dine and enjoy this supper together, we pray for blessings. Thank you for men and women who have given themselves to prepare and plan this event. Pray that you may bless them in a very special way, because of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen.
Supper was served by the Lions and Lioness. The It table was then introduced.
Jim Morrison. You stand? Then we have Mayor McDonald and his wife Doris. We have the Hills Lady, Mrs. Warren, Pearl Warren, and her escort, Sherry Lynn. Okay, next to them we have the oldest gentleman, Mr. Valeridge. Next we have Ruth Tucker, Lioness President, Reverend Colburn, and then we have Reverend Gonese. And he tells me that's the best pronunciation he's heard of his name since he left Africa, so I'm proud of it. And that's your table.
Lions President Jim Morrison had a few words to say, followed by Lioness President Ruth Tucker.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Lions, Lioness, and invited guests. I'd like to welcome you all here this evening to our annual Christmas supper and dance, and to wish you all a happy and healthy new year. I have a few little poems, a few jokes that I would like to tell. But first, I would like to thank the Lions and Lioness who prepared the supper. Thank you. This little poem here I made up this evening. The house behind the house. One of my fondest memories, as I recall the days of yore, was a little house behind the house, the Christian door to door. It was a place to sit and ponder, while for it all bowed down low, knowing that you wouldn't be there if you didn't have to go. Ours was a muddy old trailer, with size for everyone. You lived there freely better after the job was done. You had to make those frequent trips in snow, rain, sleet, or fog to that little house where you usually found to share rock Cadillac. Oft-time in dinner winter, the seat was spread with snow, but with much reluctance to the little house you'd go. With a switch you'd clear the wooden seat, been low with dreadful fear. You'd shut your eyes and grit your teeth, and you'd sit on the rear. I recall the days old Granddad, who stayed with us one summer, made a trip into the little house, which proved to be a blunder. To the same day that my dad had finished painting the kitchen green, and just cleaned up the brushes with rags and gasoline. He tossed them in down to the hole, went on his merry way. Not looking that by doing this, he eventually ruined the day. Now, Granddad had a terrible call. I never will forget. This trip he made to that little house stay to my memory yet. He sat down with her on a wooden seat, with both feet on the floor. He filled his pipe and tapped it down, and struck the match on Hoodoo's door. He lit the pipe, and sure enough, it soon began to glow. He slowly raised his little bump and turned the and thrown in down the hole. That blast had fallen, I am told. I heard for miles around. And then was poor old grandpa sprawled there on the ground. The smothering pipes down in his mouth. His eyes were shut and tight. To celebrate 3 orders were blown clear of sight. We asked him what had happened. Well, he said, I'll never forget. He said he thought it was the beans that he had to eat. Next day we had a new one. They had put it up the eaves. But this one had a different sign. They read, "No smoking, please." Now that's a story and my friend of memories long ago when I went to the outhouse because we had to go.
On behalf of the Virgil Lioness, I would like to welcome you all here tonight. I trust that you all had an enjoyable and Merry Christmas and sincerely wish you a healthy and happy 2010. It's great to see so many of you here tonight, and I hope you'll stay on for the cards and the dance which will follow. As another Christmas season draws to an end on this old Christmas Day, you hear everyone wondering, where does the time go? Well, it seems that we've just finished putting up our trees and decorations, and now it's time for us to take it all down again. Before you know it, the month of January will be over, and before you can blink, we'll be talking about spring, summer, and so on. Well, when Mr. Sims Frid was my principal, the other teachers and I, we all used to laugh when he talked about how frightening it was that time passed so quickly. Well, as we grow older, indeed it does seem that time flies even more quickly now. So for this reason, it's very important for all of us to use our time wisely. Live our lives to the fullest and take advantage of each new day. Visit our families and friends today, not next week or just on their birthdays. When the sun comes out, and I promise you it's going to come out someday, go for a walk or just sit out on your bridge. Go to the card game, to the dance. Go this week, don't put it off. In other words, my wish for all of you this year is that you enjoy yourselves and live life to the fullest in this new year, 2010. Thank you.
Mayor Drew McDonald gave greetings from the town.
King Lion Jan, Lioness Mrs. Tucker, our 2 oldest seniors, Mr. Burridge and Mrs. Warren, members of the clergy, seniors, Lions, Lioness, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the town here tonight, I would like to welcome you all here to this Lions Center here in Virgil. And I guess by looking around tonight, I can see that in the near future we're going to need a larger building, because in the next 5 years for sure, I can pretty well judge that this place is going to be double almost the amount of people that's here tonight. And I won't say how many is here tonight. But by looking around and by the numbers that I got in the next 5 years, for sure, I guess I want to encourage the Lions Club to extend the building right away. When you apply for funding for repairs, apply for an extension at the same time. But anyway, what I want to say here tonight on behalf of the town is, it's your evening, and I hope you enjoy it. It's one of the functions that the Lions here in this community has given you over the years, and hopefully they can continue. And why I say hopefully is because I see the membership in our organizations going down as well. And I want to encourage all young people in this community to get involved in organizations like our Lions and other organizations in the community. And I noticed tonight there's one young man who stepped up to the plate, Travis, and I want to commend Travis for taking on that challenge and helping out his fellow Lions and Lioness in this community. Now I just want to mention some of the things that the Lions and Lioness have done for this community, and the same more in particular for the seniors. Every year they have 3 or more functions like this, and that takes a lot of dedication and hard work on their part. And with so many members out of the system now. It's double the work we seen here tonight, and how they moved about. And it's you got to be pretty dedicated to your community and to your seniors to take on stuff like that. And I want to commend them for that. Also, they had bingos in the community, and the reason why they had bingos is a fundraiser to put off functions like this, but also they need the funds to put off a function like this. And there's a lot of people in the community that enjoy bingo, so it's a little bit of entertainment that the Lions put to this community. Santa Claus parade for our kids, really enjoyed by our youth and our kids in this community. And I want to commend the Lions Club for the work they've done and what they will do in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to join with me here tonight. Give our Lions and Lioness a round of applause. In closing, I would like to wish you all a Happy New Year in 2010. Good health and happiness. Thank you, and may God bless.
Reverend Charles then got up with a few stories.
When I grew up, as many of you of course, there were no telephone, no newspapers, no radio. Although some people had a radio, we didn't. We couldn't afford one. However, I was highly entertained, especially by stories my uncle used to tell about his life experiences. My uncle could neither read nor write. In fact, he went to school only for a short time. He said in his reader there was a story about Tom and his dog. He knows that Tom threw a stick in the water, but he didn't stay in school long enough to know if the dog fixed it. Although he didn't have any book learning, he greatly respected people who did. When I grew up, we only had one bishop for the whole of Newfoundland. Consequently, the bishop only visited every 4 years. And when it was time for the bishop to visit for confirmation, the people made sure that everything was in proper order. The church was trimmed with boughs, an arch was erected in front of the church, and oak mats lined the pathway from the arch to the entrance to the church. And this was their version of the red carpet. While the bishop's boat came into the harbour, the men would get out their muzzleloaders and fire off rounds of powder. The women and children would beat their pots and pans, and together it made a joyful sound to welcome the bishop. And after the boat got docked, the men gathered on the wharf to see the bishop come ashore. And as they waited, some stood around, while others lay across gasoline drums or sat in fish boxes. But they were all talking about what a wonderful, educated man the bishop was. And my uncle said, he's got a lot of learning. I allows, if I had his head, I wouldn't care who had his body. And excuse me, I have a fog in my throat. I'm not the same as I used to be. In spite of lack of formal education, my uncle lived a good life and always found a way to cope with life's problems. For example, each spring my uncle, like all the other fishermen, used to augment his income by catching salmon. And to catch salmon, he had set out his net. He had to set out his nets. He secured one end of the net to the land and the other end out to the sea with a wooden anchor called a kellick. And one spring he had a problem with his nets. Someone was stealing salmon from that net. And of course there were no police officer or fisheries officer in those days, so he decided to catch the thief or thieves himself. And this is what he did. Very early one morning, he and his son paddled out the harbour instead of starting the engine, so no one would be aware that they were gone. And when they reached the spot where the problem net was, my uncle loaded up his muzzleloader gun. He put in a generous amount of powder and then stuffed the barrel full of cod liver. He then instructed his son to land him on the point where the shore pass was, while the son was paddling around the cove out of sight. Well, my uncle wasn't ashore very long before he heard the poachers coming. And pretty soon, the stillness of the morning was shattered by the sound of the whole muzzleloader gun, followed by the screaming of one of the poachers. "I'm dead, I'm dead." His buddy said, "For goodness sake, stop screaming. You know full well you're not dead. Yeah, sure, you're kicking up enough fuss to wake the dead." "Don't tell me I'm not dead," replied the screaming man as he peeled the cod liver oil from his sou'wester. "Don't tell me I'm not dead. Look, here's my brains." And my uncle was very confident and determined. Once he hauled up a 325-pound halibut up from a depth of 120 fathoms of water on a hand line. I can see that huge halibut now dangling by its tail as it was hoisted up on the wharf by the crane. A young fellow was so awe-struck by the size of the fish, he said to my uncle, "How did you ever haul that 325-pound halibut up from a depth of 120 fathoms on your hand line?" And my uncle replied, "My son, just like this. I'd hauled him up or hauled his bloody head off."
The oldest gentleman, Don Barridge, and oldest lady, Pearl Warren, cut the cake and was presented gifts.
Congratulations.
Reverend Colburn returned thanks.
I look around at all the faces. Some of you are new faces. And so nice to be in a community where, you know, people like lions and lionesses do this kind of thing for people. And I know that many of you are not originally from Virgil. I feel there might be a smattering from up one coast and down the other. And that's so nice to see. And it's nice to see that whole community gets out and everyone is united and you can have fun and fellowship. And I congratulate you for that. And I also congratulate the Lions and Lionesses for all the work they do. The Lions Club is something that's, although it was in my community that I lived in, and I knew that they did a lot of things. It's only since I've been here in Virgil that I fully realized just how much they do and how much it can be all appreciated by all of us. And I give thanks for you. I give thanks for our community spirit and our volunteerism. And I hope that everyone has a healthy and happy new year also. And please use your talents wisely this year. My message in my last sermon was get out and do something for yourself and for your community. Go for a walk. Phone someone who's lonely. Anything at all. And for that, I give thanks for being here, and I give thanks for being with all of us. And I give thanks on your behalf too. Amen.
Card game followed. First prize was Ellis Ann. Second prize, Doris McDowell, and booby was Ann Childs. Santa and Mrs. Claus came for a visit and gave out gifts.
You'll be a good man there, Santa Claus. Santa wants all the kisses. Now give Miss Claus there. Okay, there's 3 kisses for Santa Claus. That's it. 5, 6, 8. Still a woman, though. You better give him a kiss, because there's always waiting. So what we got left? 1? Or that's it?
A dance then followed.
It's so good to bring together music and friends. Side by side, no one can like that. When we say it was time to make them, and that's one can be the other music and friends. Nothing makes the whole world right like music and friends.
Mayor Drew McDowell came by the studio with his town council report.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Your Burgeo Town Council held their meeting on January the 8th to bring down the 2010 budget. And the budget is as follows. On the revenue side of the budget, property tax, water and sewer tax, business tax, utility tax, tax agreement, poll tax, and grant in lieu gave us a total of $609,900. Grants and subsidies, municipal operating grant, water sewer dit charges, pavement dit charges, and gas tax gave us a total of $381,532.49. Other revenues, license and permits, office rental, administration fees, equipment rental, interest on debits, and HST rebate gave us a total of $37,100. So our total revenue came in this year at $1,028,532.49. Now on the expenditure side of the budget, general administration, it includes salaries, employee benefits, workers' compensation, office supplies, purchase services, professional service, which includes lawyers, insurance, beautification and tourism, and service charges. That's an expenditure of $174,922. Protection to persons, fire protection, street lighting and museum, operation and maintenance of the garage, operation and maintenance of the town hall. That gives us an expenditure of $79,450. Under the public works section of the budget, road maintenance, snow clearing, operation and maintenance of the water treatment plant, operation and maintenance of the water system, and equipment maintenance gives us an expenditure of $212,700. Waste disposal, that includes the contract for garbage collection, pest control, and site maintenance. We're coming in as a total of $50,460. Our debt charges on the water and sewer and paving as a total of $385,700.68. Other expenditures, travel, recreation, license and permits, MNL, NLAMA fees, commissioner fees, scholarships and donation, and that's an expenditure of $21,000. And all others, contribution to capital, an expenditure out of revenue, gas tax, It came in at $104,299.81. So as you can see on the expenditure side, the cost to operate our town in 2010, our estimated cost is $1,028,532.49. So our revenues and our expenditures balance out, so we have a balanced budget for 2010 with no tax increase. But I want to say, last November in my council report, we talked about property assessments, and this property assessment was done by an agency in St. John's, and this was done for all Newfoundland and Labrador. And in most cases, property values has risen, and therefore that increased your tax rate for 2010. But this has no, this was not the town that increased them taxes. This was the assessment that was done by the agency, and this was done for all Newfoundland and Labrador. So that's your budget for 2010. It came in at a balanced budget with no tax increase, and we will now present that to the government for approval. I also might add here that Councillor Stanley Donnelly has resigned due to work commitments from the town. He's taken a position in Alberta that's going to give him approximately 7-8 months a year away from the town, so Stanley felt he couldn't contribute to the town what he would like to, so therefore he sent in his letter of resignation. And I want to say that Stanley was a good councillor and done well while he served his term on the council, and I want to wish him well in the future on whatever occupation or he works at. Therefore, that leaves us now with 2 vacant seats on council. And council has set nomination day for January the 19th, and election day, if needed, will be on February the 9th. And I want to encourage all residents to consider running for a seat on council because it's your town, and I'm sure that you want to come forward and help move your town forward. So on nomination day, we would certainly like to see some people step forward. I know there are people interested, but they just need a little bit of encouragement from their friends and relatives, so hopefully you can do that as well. Well, that's it for this report. I want to thank you for listening. Good night, and may God bless.
This concludes our program for tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.